Okay, so you are very welcome to our Midweek Exhale. It is Wednesday again. And yeah, we're here. I suppose our Midweek Exhale is our invitation to you just to take a pause, to slow down and give yourself just time to reset in the middle of the week. Because the week starts and it can be full on, full on, full on, and it's Friday before you even get a chance to stop. So this is just a chance to take a pause and to have a rest. Um, my name is Marie, and I'm one half of the Exhale Awakening. And somewhere on your screen, I'm not going to do the pointing thing because I always point to the wrong place in the recording, is Sharyn, who's the other half of the Exhale Awakening. And yeah, we're going to guide you through the session. Our sessions all have a similar shape. So we begin with word song. Then we have breath style, and then we have silence. And we do that 4 times in the session. So we'll have 4 different breath styles. And in this session, we're going to do some breath awareness. Then we're going to do some cooling breathing because it has been very hot in most places. It's even hot here in the very north coast of Ireland. So, yeah. And then we're going to do some extended exhale because I think in the heat, yeah, all everybody wants to, well, all I want to do is just say and stop. So we're going to do that, and we're going to finish with some coherence breathing. Now, you don't have to remember any of that because we will guide you through each segment as it comes up. Um, if, as I said, some of those breath styles you thought, yeah, that really doesn't feel like something I want to do in this session, acknowledge that, but the invitation is to maybe give it a go, because even if you've tried it before and didn't like it, who knows in this moment now whether or not maybe you will like it. So come into this as if you haven't done any of those before and approach it like this is the first time that you're starting out and this is the first time you've done any of those. We have one rule here, and that is be comfortable. And so make sure you have everything you need for your physical comfort. Maybe blankets, I don't know. It is quite warm, but sometimes when you're breathing, you can actually begin to feel cold. So just have them sort of where you can reach them. You may need water, you may need, yeah, whatever you need to be physically comfortable for the next hour or so. If, as we're breathing, maybe you feel the need to move, then please feel free to move. Sometimes moving when you're breathing just helps you, just helps the breath move a little better. So if you do feel the call to move, please feel free to move. The only thing we ask you not to do is to stand up quickly, because when we breathe consciously, we change the inner chemistry of our blood and we do all sorts of things inside. But one of the effects of that is you can become lightheaded. And then if you stand up quickly, it's dangerous. So if you're at home, you may be interrupted, you may be called to do something. Just bring your breathing back to its natural rhythm and take a few moments and allow everything to settle down again, and then get up really, really slowly, just to be safe. Also, if you feel you need to bring voice into this, maybe there are sounds that need to be made, and if in your environment that's okay, feel free because you're muted, so you can make whatever sounds. Again, sound is something that can help the breath move more freely. So just notice if your body's calling for you maybe to make sounds and allow it to do that. We do say be comfortable, and that is one of our foundational rules. We don't have many rules here, but that is one of them. However, it is breath work. And breath work by its nature can cause you to maybe get to places that feel slightly uncomfortable. Maybe emotionally, maybe memories come back, maybe things come up in your system that just feel a little uncomfortable. And our invitation is that you sit with that discomfort even for a short time. Now, we'll never ask you to push through anything. We'll never ask you to force anything or really get into the middle of the discomfort. Just sit at the edge and See what it has for you. Sometimes maybe it'll begin to soften. Sometimes it has something that you leave with that you didn't have before we began. So the invitation is to sit with any discomfort that comes like that. However, it is entirely your session. You are in charge. And if at this particular moment you decide, no, it's not for me in this session, that's equally fine. Everything we offer you in this session is an invitation. And you are absolutely free not to take the invitation. So if there is something or a breath style that's bringing something up or that doesn't feel just right, you can go back to your natural breath rhythm or you can go back to a different breath style. It is your session. You will get from the session exactly what you need if you listen to your body. But if you listen to it genuinely, not, sometimes we can sort of convince ourselves that that's what it's saying when maybe it's not. So yeah, just being aware of that. We use the silence and bird song before and after every breath because they're part of the medicine. The silence brings us into our parasympathetic nervous system. And when we're there, we begin to really rest. And when we rest, the internal workings of our body, they really begin to work then. When they get the space and the silence and the time, they begin to do all sorts of magical things. So inside is a hive of activity, even building new neural pathways in your brain. So giving yourself this time is really, really special. The bird song as well signals to your body you're safe. And when your body knows you're safe, that allows all those things inside to really, really begin to work. It signals we're safe because our ancestors knew if they could hear the birds, there was nothing dangerous in the vicinity. So as you listen to the bird song, just allowing it, because our brains, our nervous system still remembers that, even though we're not aware of it, just allowing our bodies and our systems to do exactly what they know to do. And your job in the next 45 minutes is to breathe and let everything else happen in the background. So I think that's all I have to say. So we will just get yourselves comfortable. You can do this sitting up, you can do it lying down. If you're sitting up, please make sure you're supported so that you can be really comfortable. And if you're lying down, maybe make sure that if you've your head on a pillow, it's not too high because the breath can be kind of obstructed if it's too high, just to make the breathing as free as possible. And I'm going to start the bird song. And just allowing the birds to bring you into this moment. And as we begin, just noticing what's present for you right now and noticing without judgment. Maybe noticing your body, feeling the surface beneath and where your body comes in contact with that surface. And then maybe noticing there are areas of your body that are calling to you. Maybe there's tightness or tension or tingling or heat or even pain, and just noticing that and being aware of it. And as the music begins, just noticing your mind and your thoughts. Maybe your mind's busy and there's lots of thoughts racing around. Maybe it's not. And knowing that either way is absolutely perfect. But maybe try not to get caught up on the thoughts. And if you notice that you are caught up, just gently bringing yourself back to your breath. And then noticing how you feel in this moment. And again, knowing that whatever way you feel, absolutely right for now. And bringing your attention now to your breath. Letting all those other things be in the background. Bringing your focus onto your breath. And noticing the inhale and the exhale. Where do you feel the breath moving? And noticing how your breath feels right now. And letting go of anything you know about how it should feel, and just noticing how it does feel. Maybe noticing, does it feel any different since you've started to bring attention to it? Maybe it feels easier, but equally maybe it feels more difficult. And if you feel your mind drifting off your breath, when you notice, gently just bringing it back. And maybe noticing the inhale as it becomes the exhale. Is there a pause there? And maybe there is and maybe there isn't, but just noticing that. And there's no need to change anything. Just being aware. And we're into our last minute. So maybe seeing what it would be like if you could bring just a little bit more attention to your breath. Even only for few seconds. And it's almost time to move into our first time of silence in this session. And just resting in the silence. There's nothing you need to do.
And as the birdsong gently brings the silence to a close, just noticing how it felt to bring awareness to yourself in the place that you're at right now, and noticing how it was in the silence with that awareness. Maybe it felt like you were there for ages, or maybe it just disappeared in a blink. And there's a whole spectrum in between that. And in our next segment, we're going to breathe with a cooling breath. And it could be maybe called the straw breath also. And what you're going to do, if it's possible for you to do so, and this isn't physically possible for everyone, so don't worry if this isn't something that you can do. But we're going to turn in the edges of our tongue. So just putting our tongue out a little and curling the edges to make a little tube with our tongue. And we're going to inhale and we're going to exhale through that tube. And this is fantastic when you're a little overheated. It just cools the air as it comes in and out of your body. Now, if it's not possible for you to turn your tongue, don't worry about that. You can just make like a straw shape with your lips, and you can just breathe in and out as if you were breathing in and out through a straw. So let's try first of all to see if you can curl your tongue and breathe in and out through that curled tongue. And notice the coolness of the air as it enters and exits your body. And you choose your rhythm. It's a very gentle pull on the inhale and a very gentle push on the exhale. Really, really gentle. And as you're pulling the air in through that rounded tongue or through the rounded lips, gently and slowly, notice how your body fills with air, feeling the expansion of your ribs on the inhale, and how your ribs just soften as you exhale. We're almost halfway there already, so just notice how it feels. If you're breathing on a curled tongue, you might want to switch to just breathing through a straw mouth. Or maybe you're really enjoying it and you want to stay with that curled tongue. And just maybe having a couple of breaths after your next exhale in your natural rhythm. And noticing if you can sense the difference between the warmth of the air as you bring it in through the nose and the coolness of the air as you bring it in through the straw. And the same with your exhale. Notice the difference in temperature. And then let's go back to the cooling breath for this last minute. Just letting your breath return to its natural rhythm on the next exhale as we move into the silence.
And as the bird song begins again, just noticing what that silence felt like. Maybe you felt a little cooler after breathing with the cooling breath. Maybe the silence was different to the first one, and maybe it was exactly the same. And for our next breath style, we're going to breathe with an extended exhale. And what that means just is that we're going to focus on keeping the exhale a little bit longer than the inhale. And there's a number of different ways you can do this. You can breathe in through your nose and you can breathe out through your mouth. Maybe introducing a sigh into some of those breaths. Or you can breathe in through your nose and you can breathe out through pursed lips, which help you slow down the exhale. And if it helps, you can even count. Maybe you breathe in for 3 and out for 5. But finding what's comfortable for you without forcing it or pushing it. And just focusing on keeping that exhale slightly longer than that inhale. if it's available, taking the inhale gently in through the nose. And then slowly out through the open mouth or through pursed lips. Maybe on your next exhale, maybe you want to let the exhale go with a sigh. And that sigh might be a whispered sigh, but it also might be a sigh that has voice. Noticing what that does to your body. And continuing with your gentle inhales and your longer exhales. And not forcing the exhale, just allowing it to go until it's finished. Keeping your focus gently on your breath. Gentle inhale and the long, slow exhale. Maybe after the next inhale, you might want to do another sigh. Or maybe two. Keeping your inhales gentle and your exhales long and slow. we're almost into our last 30 seconds, so maybe allowing the next 2 exhales to be sighs again. And allowing your breath to come back to its natural rhythm and resting in the silence.
And as the bird song begins again, just listening for a little while to that beautiful sound. Maybe like me, you can hear the actual birds outside as well as the bird song, all mingled in on this bright evening. And maybe just reflecting us on how you felt in that silence as we move into our final breath. And for this final breath, I'm going to invite you to bring your inhale and your exhale in through the nose and out through the nose. And we're going to bring some balance and some harmony to the breath by allowing the inhale to be the same length as the exhale, and the exhale, of course, to be the same length as the inhale. And you can do this by counting in your mind. You can do it by bringing your fingers to the tips of your thumb in a kind of mudra. Or you can just allow your body to feel into the breath and find its own way to that balance and that harmony. And if you are counting, play with the count and find the count that's comfortable to you, without attachment to what you did last time. Let your breath arrive in this moment. Letting this breath be a form of comfort, be soothing. And you might want to place your hand somewhere on your body to give you that extra bit of comfort. Just softly and gently inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Letting all of your focus be on softening, being gentle. Maybe the word might be peaceful or calm. Just letting the breath bring you into balance. We're in the last minute now, and maybe the last couple of breaths can be a little slower and a little longer. But no pushing. Just see if there's that gentle bit of softening in the body, in the breath. And then letting the breath pattern fall away and returning to your natural breath as you rest in the silence.
And as the birdsong begins for final time in this session, just taking a few moments to reflect again on the silence and how that felt, and maybe on the whole session. And now it's time to think about coming back to your physical space and maybe coming back to the Zoom room. So just taking a few moments to bring some gentle movement in. Maybe your shoulders, your head and neck, very gently. Maybe your fingers and your toes, your wrists. Maybe you want to stretch and yawn. Just feeling that surface under you again and feeling the points of contact between you and the surface. Maybe feel that support coming from deep in the ground that surface is resting on. And maybe if you're lying down, thinking about turning over on your side and coming up to sitting, or just staying lying down.
And while you're deciding what to do and just coming back to yourself, a couple of notices that I've popped into the into the chat. If you're here live, it'll be down below, I think, if you are watching either of the recordings, one of which will go up in YouTube. And you'll see the YouTube link there at the Exhale Awakening is our little YouTubey bit. Or you'll find this in the Exhale Library, and you can sign up to the first tier of the Exhale Library for free. And the link for that is there in the chat too. We have 2 longer breathworks. We don't have one this week. It's next week when we will be breathing with the Celtic tree, our Celtic tree calendar. And this time we will be breathing with aspen, which I'm excited about meeting. And then in 3 weeks' time, we will be exploring Cancer as the sun moves around out of Gemini. But for now, we're still in the Gemini season. And I managed to delete the link in my wisdom, but I'll pop the link up a little later if you want to have a look at that. And our directory listing link is there, and all of those events are in our directory listing. So do just, do pop over if you'd like to get in touch with us, or if you would like to leave us a review. We do love receiving reviews. And before we close down the recording, just a little bit of care, I guess, for you, aftercare, especially in this weather. Do make sure you stay hydrated. When we do breath work, even really gentle breath works, which we did today on purpose because of the weather, even when you've done a gentle breath work like this, it is still powerful and profound. So just make sure that you're hydrated and that you're plenty of water there to help with any detoxing that happens as a result of this breath work. Eat nourishing food, and as and chocolate, as we like to say. We love a little bit of chocolate after this. And be mindful and aware of yourself as you go throughout the next day or so. This breathwork has a way of just showing up beautifully in your life. So take care, everyone. Thank you for joining us again. We are going to go into Heart and Voices now in the live session. If you wanted to leave a comment, then again, I think it'll be down here. Please do leave us any comments or likes. Thank you for being here.